all clear. Rocket in. We want to be on to target. All the way up.
Well, back in the 1930s, the J-Class were the cutting edge of technology. The latest materials, latest sails.
Hey guys, are we ready to jibe or not?
Around the mark for ages.
Just as relevant, today as they were back then in the 30s. There's a huge parallel with us and the actual cut boats now.
Feel like you've got a big responsibility. You feel like you're a part of history in some ways. The owners are very passionate people and you want to do your best by them.
In the 1930s, these were the top echelon of yachting. Everyone wanted to be involved in the America's Cup. It was the top of the sport.
So very much at the time they were pushing the boundaries of how big, how much sail plan they could put up, how much they could physically manage with the crews, and very early days of having vague winches, but everything was manpower.
Is it going to be soft after the tack?
The boats were filled with top crews, but also top fishermen, because they were strong, hardy, and they had to sail them across the Atlantic.
Okay, we're trimming up on the wind here for the tank.
Everyone wanted to get on board and get involved in the America's Cup and on these yachts.
Yeah, the J-Class were the America's Cup boats. There were 9 built, and there were plans for more boats to be built, such as Svea, but the war was looming in Europe, and that put the end to the J-Class. Svea was designed in 1937 by Torholm. He's very famous for designing 8 metres and 6 metre boats up in Sweden, and he designed Svea for 2 Swedish industrialists. The design was thought to be lost and was found 25 years ago this year in Torholm's daughter's archive by John Lammerts van Buren. I mean, it was the J that everybody talked about that was never built, and it was the lost J, as she was known. And then, and here we are now. The boat was built in 2012, and then the previous owner of Svea took up the build again in 2016, and so we launched in 2017. Everybody looks at these boats and just looks at them and says, "Wow, that's just an incredible bit of machinery."
Rainbow's a replica of the 1934 America's Cup winner, which was originally American.
Completely identical to the original boat in hull shape. So we'd like to think we can go out and be ultra competitive. The original boat won the Cup in 34, won the trials 33. It was second in the trials in 1937. And then of course the boat was destroyed before World War II. We know the history and we want to be proud of the boat.
Let's just sail on course for a while and let them trim.
Rainbow sails during a regatta with 30 people. Everyone has a job. It's a choreographed ballet of yachting, of big people. Rainbow's a beautiful boat. We're custodians and the owner's a custodian of the history of the boat. It's a real privilege to work on her and keep the class going and growing.
Velsheda built in 1933 in the UK. She was one of the only J's that wasn't initially built for the America's Cup. She was built for the big boat racing on the Solent and within Europe. But in her time, she was one of the most successful J's on the water. She's one of the original J's built out of steel. She spent some time in the mud, and she was sort of pushed together still without an engine, and then in the 90s, the current owner bought her and fully restored her to what we know the J-Class today. The way these boats are sailed with big crews, and it's, I think it's something every sailor looks and dreams to get the opportunity to sail on them, and we're very, very lucky to have that opportunity.
The J's are timeless. I think the J's will, they've been sailing for 90 years and I think they'll sail for another 90 years.